Good morning and welcome to Sparkle Speak. This morning we have a guest, Jen Massey, who is a pediatrician, and she actually lives in Augusta, Georgia. And she has 4 children, ages 9 to 20. And she's been married for, did you say 23 years? I can't remember exactly, but I'm thinking that in my head. So Jen, can you tell us, she's Jennifer, but she goes by Jen. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and elaborate on who you are and your family, kind of, and how you became, maybe a little bit about how you decided to become a pediatrician?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jen. I am a pediatrician in Augusta, as Betsy said, and I practice medicine 2 days a week in private practice. I have 4 children, ages 20, 18, almost 15, and 9. So I have a wide span of parenting going on in my life right now. I'm married to John, who's a dentist who we met in medical and dental school and have been married for almost 23 years. And we have really been here in Augusta for most of that time.
Yeah, wow. So what made you decide to become a pediatrician? Did you have like a moment where you were like, this is what I want to do?
So, what's interesting is that I really started talking about being a pediatrician at age 11. And that's very unusual these days. And I hear that even from my own kids. It seems like people change all the time. But for whatever reason, the Lord laid it on my heart, really, even before I knew Him, that that's what He wanted me to do.
Mhm.
So, through much work and perseverance, I became a pediatrician. So I had always been interested in science. I had always loved kids and been with them my whole life and sort of knew that I was going to do something involving them and started volunteering in high school, following people, shadowing, and here I am 23
Yeah.
years later.
I know some people have the desire to do that at a young age and then just never really follow through. So yeah, the seeing that you have followed through, that's just a very long,
Right.
arduous process. But I'm sure that you are a delight in your field. And I know from hearing, my brother actually,
Yes.
and I've heard that you have a very strong faith. And I know that that anyone that has a strong faith has a story. So can you elaborate on that a little bit and tell us your story?
Yes, I love to tell the story. I grew up in a home that we went to church, and that was an important part of our lives. But I really did not kind of own my faith for myself until college. I lived a very normal, worldly high school and college life. And then at some point in college, just thought there's got to be more to this.
Mhm.
Um, and so I came to know Christ as a sophomore at the University of Georgia through some campus ministries and friends. And the rest is kind of history. So, what's really neat to me is how, with my profession, the Lord had called me to do medicine, and I had no idea how He would use it. I also knew He was really calling me to be a mother. I really wanted to have a family and raise them to know Him and what that looked like. And the Lord dropped me into a place where I could really be able to do, was really able to do both. So coming to know the Lord as a sophomore in college and learning that there's a lot of brokenness, not just in people personally, but physically, emotionally.
Mhm.
I knew the Lord was going to use that somehow in my profession. Just coming from a very stable home, but knowing that there was brokenness all around me, whether that be friends. I had 2 friends pass away before I was even 13.
Oh,
I had families that got divorced. I had sick, grandparents. So there
mhm,
was always some sort of brokenness
mhm.
in families around me,
Yeah.
and I
So,
was confident the Lord was going to use my newfound faith as a college student and med student for that.
oh, yeah. So I know that a lot of people become, find their faith or become Christians, so to speak, that you feel like there is brokenness in your own life, or like you were saying, people around you. So did you see healing? Did you see that God healed or your faith healed any of the situations?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, starting at a young age, I can look back and see. grappling with the death of childhood friends and seeing their parents cling to the hope of Christ, and thinking through that later when I was really processing that as an adult, what that looked like, what that meant,
Yeah.
understanding that there's something so much greater than what's going on just currently in our
Yeah.
present circumstances.
Mm.
And then you throw in medicine, and here I am as a resident dealing with children with cancer and how to bring families hope when it just seems like the world and our earthly bodies don't always work the way we want them to. And so I saw over and over more emotional and spiritual healing, as well as being able to be a participant in regular medical healing. And
Right,
to
right.
this day, that's part of what I enjoy, is being able to walk with families, not just through the easy stuff, but being able
Mhm.
to walk with them in the hard stuff. Teenagers with anxiety and depression, and understanding who they are and figuring out their identity, and understanding that it's so much more than just what the world tells them.
Yeah.
Walking along medical students, helping them see that they're called to something so much greater than just writing prescriptions, you know?
Yeah, right. No, I mean, you definitely have you're in a field where you can help people become more whole, not only physically, but spiritually as well. And that's such a blessing and so needed. And I know I'm sure the childhood diseases and all kinds of, I know that people are struggling with anxiety like never before, and just the brokenness in families, like you were saying earlier. To have someone like you in that world is amazing. So yeah, and I guess sometimes you have to brace yourself each day because you don't know what you're going to face with the different situations. But I know your faith has probably helped you with that. Anything else to add, or do you have a story, like a particular story you'd like to share?
Well, I think I have lots of stories.
Yes,
It's
I bet
always
you
a
do.
matter of what I can come up with at the moment. Um, I do think that seeing being able to talk to teenagers these
Yeah.
days with, I mean, I think the statistics are pretty rattling. If you, even since COVID, just the amount of mental health issues that are going on in teenagers with just the advent of
Mm,
COVID and social media and the things and the pressures that they're feeling, and being able to just over and over kind of break through all that and tell them there's something so much more, and that they are
mhm,
so much more valuable than just what that screen tells them.
mhm,
To
mhm,
me, I mean, I probably have those conversations multiple times a week of, you are worth more than what how many likes you have on an Instagram page.
mm,
And what drives that is my own walk with the Lord, of just learning that he is enough, and that I'm completely loved and accepted because of him, not anything I do, not because of those letters behind my name, or how many kids I've raised, or if they're, really good kids or something like that. But just knowing that, like, the world is broken, but he gives the greater hope, and
mhm.
that fills my heart, which allows me to give it away.
Yes. Well, that's wonderful coming from you because you do have a lot of accolades behind you that you could stand on, but the fact that you stand on your faith, that they can see that as truth and that you're sincere, and I guarantee that gives them hope. So, anyway, Jen, thank you so much for joining us today. And today is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to you. And we hope you have a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see everybody again on Sparkle Speak.
Thanks so much for having me. I
You're
enjoyed it.
welcome. All right.